Alright, so I'm going to talk about a bit about the new NetherRealm Studios game that is coming soon. Now, keep in mind, this is just going to be my own theories as well as what we know so far. So let's talk about what we know so far from Ed Boon and the rest of NetherRealm Studios. They have confirmed that it is not going to be either Mortal Kombat or Injustice. It's not going to be another Mortal Kombat game, it's not going to be another Injustice game. Which I think is a smart idea on NetherRealm, is that, you know, you've only been known for doing the 2 games. You know, you've only been known to do just the 2 games in cycle. I think it would be nice to have a change. So that's neat. That is neat. And we did get a tease of Ed Boon, of 2 people in motion capture. And I'm going to get back to that real quick. So I think the next game is going to be another fighting game, and it is going to be for the next gen systems. But I think it's going to be a horror fighting game. I straight up think it's going to be a horror. Now, I could be totally wrong. I could be 100% wrong that it could be a horror. It could be a horror fighting game, and I'll go into why that could be. It may be difficult to do. But for right now, hear me out. Ed Boon has talked about since MK9 wanting to do a horror fighting game, and it's been pretty obvious in MK9 and MKX that, you know, everyone at NetherRealm are horror fans, and Terrordrome was apparently another major inspiration for them for MK9. So to have those characters, you know, all together would be really cool. It'd be a really neat idea, and to add a little more, and again, I could be totally wrong, but the one thing I want you to look at is that picture that Ed Boon tweeted of 2 people in motion capture suits, and it looked like one, and the poses they were in were clearly like to be fighting poses, but it's the stances that got me thinking. It was very much the stances that got me thinking. The first one was a very tall guy holding like what looked like a pipe or some kind of prop that looked like a knife or a machete. And he's standing like straight up and looking like that, like his head slightly tilted, kind of like someone we know from the Halloween franchise, right? And then we look at the other guy, and he's kind of crouched. He's got like his hands out like fingers, like he's got his fingers out like this. And who do we know has that kind of stance? Not only had that stance in MK9, but also has certain claws weapons. I don't. Now again, maybe this is just conjecture, but this is not. Well, conjecture is the wrong word. Excuse me. This is all just me theorizing. But that's you know, it's a very close idea. It's not a bad idea to think of, because a lot of the horror characters were very popular in the DLC, and this is something Ed Boon and the rest of NetherRealm have been wanting to do. Now, there is some difficulty to having all these horror characters together. And say it with me now, licensing. Licensing's gonna be a problem. Because, yeah, all of these horror characters are all owned by different studios. You know, Universal technically owns, well, they own Halloween. They own Halloween because of Blumhouse. You have New Line Cinema, who has Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. Well, Jason is kind of in limbo. That's the problem, is that Jason is the big one. Because Jason's in fucking limbo right now. So that's the one that we may not see. If we're going by, you know, hypothetically, if this is a horror game, that's the one we may not see, is Jason, because of the court case mumbo jumbo. So, yeah, that's the problem, is we may not get Jason in this game. Again, going by if it's a horror-centric game. But just because we don't have Jason doesn't mean that we can't have, you know, other horror-based characters. Remember, Freddy's on the table, Michael's on the table, the Creeper is on the table. And when I say Creeper, I mean the Jeepers Creepers. But that's the other thing, is that they're all owned by different studios. But as we've seen, is that a lot of these studios have been very open. Because I think New Line is under Warner Brothers, if I'm not mistaken, so it was easier for them to get Freddy and Leatherface. I think Jason was under New Line, too, when they got to use him for MKX. But yeah, so that's not hard because they're under Warner Brothers. The other ones are a little more difficult. But having said that, though, it's been very clear that from these guest characters, they've been very open to using the rights, to the video game rights to those characters. So yeah, it shouldn't be that hard Like, because most of them are under Warner Brothers controlled studios, and I think that could be I think that's a smart idea. The other ones may be a little hard to get. Like I said, Jason's probably going to be the hardest to get, again, going if this is a horror-themed game. And could we finally get fucking Ash? Please? I mean, no disrespect to RoboCop, but come on, we all wanted Ash, and maybe this is the game that we finally get, like, hey, finally here. But as for other ones, it shouldn't be too hard to get some of them, and again, the idea of having all these horror characters, some of them would be harder to get licensing for, but how would you do, you know, it wouldn't be too hard to put them all in a game. It's just the storyline, like, and again, this could be all, it could all be something else. Like, you know how Ed Boon loves to troll people. You know Ed Boon is the king of trolls, so this could all be just me talking out of my ass, and again, I totally accept that, but, like, at the same time, a lot of people are, like, pointing at this like, I think they're fucking doing it. I think they're doing a straight-up horror game. And don't say, oh, that wouldn't be marketable. Are you kidding? Have you not seen the DLC numbers for Jason, you know, Jason, Freddy, Leatherface? Especially Leatherface was the surprise one. Alien and Predator? Yeah. Don't tell me that horror isn't, you know, horror franchises make a shit ton. And hell, there could be a possibility we could get other horror game characters. Like, if fucking Dead by Daylight can get Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, I guarantee you that you know, that Silent Hill you would probably have Pyramid Head in this game. You would probably have, there's a strong possibility you could have Pyramid Head in this game. If we are going by, like, other characters we could see in this hypothetical horror game, Jason would probably be out, maybe as a DLC if they get the rights figured out. Michael is a definite. I'd love to see Candyman, and voiced by... And that's the other thing. A lot of these horror actors can easily be voiced by their... it's not hard to get them. It's not hard to get these actors to play these characters. It's not hard to have these characters be voiced by their actors. You know, you could have Tony Todd come back and voice Candyman in this game. You could have Robert Englund, who's done... Him and Jeffrey Combs, who played Reanimator, were both in Injustice 2. Scarecrow and Brainiac, respectively. So you could have Reanimator and voiced by Jeffrey Combs. You could use his likeness. You could have Robert Englund come back and voice Freddy. You could have... I forget the actor's name, but it's something. It's Adrian something. I know that, but you could have the actor play the Djinn. The Djinn would be really cool, like Ghostface. You could get I forget his name, but he voiced, for those who don't know, the guy who played Ghostface or voiced Ghostface also played Mojo Jojo. I know that's such a fucking contrast, right? But yeah, it wouldn't be hard to get him to play Ghostface. Bruce Campbell, depending if he's willing to work for it, maybe. I mean, he did Dead by Daylight, but he didn't do fucking, you know, Mortal Kombat. But again, this could all be totally wrong, but something tells me that this is the path they're going on. Now, again, I fully accept that I could be totally wrong, and God knows I've been wrong in the past. So, yeah. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of the idea of a possibility of NetherRealm Studios making a horror-centric fighting game? Would you guys be excited for that? Would you guys not be? I'll talk more about this when we get more information, which I got a feeling we are probably going to get some information come this summer, like maybe not later this month, though I'd be surprised if we did. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. Probably July or August. Like, that's when we'd probably get information, is somewhere in, like, the July-August timeline, that time frame. So, but yeah, like, if this is a horror game, I'm all for. You guys already know I'm all for it. So, I'll talk more about it when we get more information. But yeah, so like I said, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of the possibility of a horror-centric fighting game? Again, assuming this is what we're going with. Are you guys excited for it? Are you guys not? And what characters would you want to see in the game? Like, you know, Pumpkinhead or, you know, Cropsy, or like some of the more obscure slashers would be really cool. But anyway, So, oh, I know they can't. Jigsaw would be difficult to do. I would say Jigsaw would be difficult to do, but maybe you could do like the pig head, the pig-headed servant as the slasher. I don't know. That's just a cool idea. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later.